chaps, cool dudes, and Patrick Bamford. Welcome to this We All Love Leeds, which is a show dedicated to our love of Leeds United. With me right now is my co-host, Mr. Ben. Take it away, sir.
How are you? Welcome, everybody. Looking forward to it. We've been up to Mr. Tom.
You know what? I've been tired this week because of work and stuff, but no one wants to hear about that. They want to hear from our man in the shadows, the King of New York, the Master of Disaster, Director John, of course.
Master of Disaster? Oh, that's from Rocky, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we're looking forward to having a little bit of fun, and yeah, we'll take it from there. We'll see what happens. Let's see.
I love Rocky 4. It's the best.
Thanks for your work, John.
I liked 1 and 2. I'm sorry, Ben?
Thank you for your work.
No big deal. Just wait till you get my invoice. All right. All right, I'll see you.
You'll go in the drawer with the rest of them.
Right. All right, have fun.
Right, so rude of me, of course, to bring in John before responding to your question. How are you, Sir Ben?
I'm good. Looking forward to talking a bit of Leeds. Got a bit for you tonight, a preview, Cardiff game, looking to pre-season, signings, and a bit of other Leeds chat. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
Amazing. I think now.
Oh, yeah, and I got engaged yesterday. So, yeah, it's been a week.
By the way, I got engaged? You want to fucking tell us that? Excuse my language.
Excuse me, Leeds first.
Well, I think I'll speak on behalf of everyone when I say congratulations, Mr. Ben.
Thank you.
Just to confirm to everyone, it's not to me, all right? Although I would have said yes.
Say hello to David, Mark, Sam in the chat. Lolo, thanks for joining us.
I think it is awesome that we have only been 3 minutes old as a show, and we've already got people piling in with the comments. Absolutely beautiful, back of the net. But what I think is really important is that I hope you're right, Sam. I would be Rocky 3 for me. Hogan, of course. But I like the robot in Rocky. Sorry, it's not a Rocky 4 show. Anyway. I think we should mention, I personally like the rather elaborate, in my opinion, introduction for the show.
I love the video, yeah. It's well put together. I'm well impressed with it, to be honest.
I think I would be remiss if we did not bring in the young man that made that elaborate contraption.
Yes, contraption it is. But never mind all that nonsense. Ben, you kept that under your hat, mate. God, dear me.
Did I?
Yeah, I'm shocked. You never said a word.
I didn't want to make it about me. It's not about me today. That was yesterday. So
well, I never. Yeah. Honestly.
Leeds have played since then. So.
Well, congratulations, mate.
No, thank you very much, and thanks.
May all your Christmases be bright.
Yeah, I hope so too. Yeah, no, I'm over the moon. I'm happy as Larry. So yeah.
That's grand. Well, you know, I'm just here. I will pop in from time to time just to have a bitch and a moan. Other than that, you won't hear from me. But if anybody comes on and says anything untoward, I will be down their throats. Don't worry about that.
This is the show's regular Karen.
There we go.
David says hello about me, so yeah. I keep forgetting I've actually got control of these things. So yeah.
Oh, I didn't know I was allowed to put them up. Okay, fair enough. I thought we had employed a director for that.
Well, I haven't paid him, so we'll get a budget director, I think, Tom.
Oh, you know
so what
in life, don't you? So.
What would you like? Should we start with you've got a question for me, I do believe.
No, I'll tell you what, right? What I think would be a a sensible question to ask a lot of people that may or may not know us is, although the show is called We All Love Leeds, some people might not know why we love Leeds. So I think it's a fair question to ask, Ben, why do you love Leeds?
I'm a big believer in Leeds chooses you. And the cliche answer is your dad supports Leeds or your mum or whatever, do you know? But my gran on my dad's side, I never met her, but she was a Leeds fan, and then obviously my dad supported Leeds. But I actually went to York City, Anfield, and Old Trafford before I ever went to Ellen Road. I went with the football club to Anfield, went with school to Old Trafford, and my dad took me to watch York, and nothing compared to walking out of into the stand at Ellen Road for the first time. The atmosphere, it just gripped me, and from that minute on, even though I'd supported them from when I was 6 technically, but from that minute on, I knew I was a Leeds fan. So yeah, quite a lot of years.
Okay. I always just add the assumption, obviously, because you're a local lad, as in more local than I am, and I get a lot of like, why do I support Leeds? Because you may or may not know, I'm clearly not from Leeds, right? I don't sound like the average Leeds fan. No, I know, Ben. I'm
You've been living a lie, haven't you?
No, I was Bruce Wayne all along. But anyway, so people.
You guys sound the same to me. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Oh, get out of here.
That's Leedsism right there. So people were like, why don't you support West Ham? I was like, have you seen them? I mean, not got trophy, lift the trophy now and all that, but generally, like,
it's not a trophy.
They lifted the tin. They lifted the tin. Oh, if we lifted it, we'd have partied hard.
Yeah, but we didn't lift it, so we can take the piss.
It's true. It's a fair point. But so basically, I'm in a family that one half of it has always been an Arsenal family. I know.
My mum's an Arsenal fan, if that helps.
Yeah, my dad and his brother basically used to go to they were basically part of a faction called like a group called the London Leeds, where they'd get the train from King's Cross every Saturday morning. 6 a.m. I believe they had to be there, because trains were a lot slower then than they are now. And they'd make their way up to Leeds, and often they'd be too drunk to even register what was going on in the football. I hope he doesn't see this, so he doesn't type Leeds into the search engine on YouTube, because without him there was a bit of a... Anyway, so when I first got into football, because a lot of people do know, it was the 1994 World Cup, and the fact that it was the only thing on TV at the time that I was awake. So it sort of forced itself on me. Not like that. And basically, I started like dipping my toe in, and I was like, the local team are West Ham. And then I sort of caught myself, and I was like, nah. And definitely didn't want to go with Arsenal. So I was left with no choice. Like, it grabbed me like a... You know what I mean? And
like a machine at the fairground.
Exactly. It reached out. I'd probably fit in one of them machines, but it dragged me, and I was like, no, I don't want to be in the championship. We were quite a good team in 1995, 96. Like, to be fair, but
we had Tony Yeboah.
Exactly, and Tony Yeboah was going to be a favourite on it. I should have had the little figurines. Anyway, I still treasure that figurine. I sometimes pray to it. I pray to it.
That's the one Leeds figurine, right? From the one Leeds figurine everybody's either had or got.
Yeah.
Yeboah.
Yeah. I used to pray to that every night from March to, you're damn right, Sam Greenwood, March to July. I'd be like, please get us promoted. And little do you know what you're actually getting, what you ask for, because then it's like, why are we losing every week? Why are we lose? Anyway, that's the nature of football, though. So, you know what? Man in the shadows. Why do you love Leeds United?
Why do I? Well, the first time I saw them, they were playing Liverpool, right? It was that first game that when they were promoted. And I was like, yeah. I was like, man, these guys are running around like lunatics. You know, they're giving it their all. It reminded me of the New York Rangers. Well, reminded me of
it was
hockey.
The nearest thing to ice hockey, was it?
Exactly. Yeah. So I was like, why not? And you know, I knew Lolo liked Arsenal. I was like,
since, haven't you, John? Yeah, loyal ever since.
Yeah, you know, how can I follow Arsenal?
That's what I thought. I thought that about a lot of teams. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are times where I bitch out my dad for like being a Leeds fan because like I feel like I was like genetically disposed to suffer because of it. But winning's boring.
My first season ticket was Howard Wilkinson. The year we came up, 1989. So my third season we won the title. So it started out well for me. It's been painful ever since.
As much as I give out about Leeds, they've given me some great moments. I was there when we qualified for the Champions League in that utterly pitiful, boring 0-0 draw at Upton Park. Sorry, they call it the bowling ground, whatever it is, Upton Park, right? And we was like, back in day, internet was well in its infancy, and we're like on the radio. It's like, oh my God, Liverpool are losing to Bradford. David Weatherall scored, I believe, former Leeds player. But that was a great day because I naturally thought, we're going to be a top team for a long time now once that Champions League revenue comes in. Too bad Mr. Risdale thought, I'm going to spend all of that revenue. Anyway.
I'm going to give it to Seth Johnson.
Yeah. I'm going to give him more than he was even intending to ask for, which apparently isn't true. It's a funny story. Got a lot of time to get into that, but what we're doing next? Do you know we play today, Ben? Yeah, you know what? That's really rude of me.
I'd like to ask Bandy because he's seen a bit more than we have.
Hey guys, well, what you're asking? How I became a Leeds fan?
Yeah, why do you love Leeds?
And why? Yeah.
Well, it's when I was a boy, I wasn't really allowed to watch TV, and then I think as a 10-year-old, I was allowed to. 9-year-old, I was allowed to watch the moon landing. Yeah, they did, but they were black and white, and you had to wind them up, And I was allowed to watch the moon landing in 1969. And in 1970, I was allowed to watch the FA Cup final, Leeds v Chelsea. And I'd never seen football on the TV before. I'd played it with my friends and stuff, so I knew what the game was about, but I'd never actually seen it. And I was watching this cup final, and Chelsea came out in blue, and Leeds came out in white. I think we had red socks at the time. And they said, I said, well, I like the way these boys are dressed in white. I want them to win. The game was a draw, but they had the replay at Old Trafford. I was able to watch that, and we lost the game. But Leeds was my club ever since, And in those early years, it was just wonderful. Because we were so good.
One hell of a game for your first game.
Oh my word, the violence. You've never seen such violence in a game. Flying kicks and
it's a different sport in it now.
Absolutely, you'd never get away with that carry on. And nobody was sent off. Nobody. It was amazing. I see Ian Hutchinson do a flying kick, I think, on Jack Charlton. The fouls were just terrible. Even a gentleman like, what was his name? Crikey. Ron Houseman. No. Peter Houseman. No, Peter Houseman. He was a Chelsea player, a real gentleman of the game. He was getting involved in everything. I mean, we all know about Chopper Harris from Chelsea, and a couple of our players as well. I mean, you know, Billy Bremner and Norman Hunter. You know, they were quite brutal. But yeah, that's why I'm a Leeds fan. Yeah.
Evening, Ian.
Do you ever regret it?
No.
For that insight, Bandy. No,
But what I will say is that you got to choose your team carefully, or your club has to choose you carefully. Because, you know, for all those barren years, I was very loyal. You know, I stuck to the task.
Loyal.
Yeah,
we're all loyal, and we're all entitled to a moan about them now and then. And it's been a lot of moaning lately, but let's hope the new era brings us some joy.
Well, yeah, we've had to put up with some rough stuff in the last year or so, but like you say, upwards and onwards.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Bandy. We'll be seeing you soon.
Did you know that Chelsea Leeds FA Cup final was the most watched club match in England? Where it is.
No, I didn't know that. No.
The viewing thing, like obviously the most watched match in England is the World Cup final of '66 that we won. Yeah, but following on from that, the most watched club match is that Leeds Chelsea FA Cup final.
I know a game that was nowhere near the most watched in England, and that was Hart Midlothian versus Leeds.
Oh no, you're shitting me. What?
No? Well, apparently we played Hearts today.
You're telling me that all the Arsenal fans out there weren't giving their $7.99 to the LUFC match pass? What?
That's a word that we're going to very rarely use on this show. It's Arsenal.
Yeah, exactly.
So did you get to watch any of the? I'm going to kill him.
Any excuse.
I'm going to kill him.
Any excuse.
Right, I'm on my way to Brooklyn. Right. Did you get to watch any of the game or the highlights? Or
I have seen bits of it. What I would like to get into, before we get into the ins and outs, I actually think we'd be remiss if we didn't go over the lineup. So, Director John doesn't mind if I take the liberty / initiative to throw up the lineup. That's a mighty nice pair of headphones, Mr. Somerville. Is there anything that sticks out to you when you look at that, see names, etc.?
Well, I like a few names on it. There's a couple I'd like to see replaced, but look, it is what it is. We've got what we've got right now. We'll see what we'll end up with, but I'd like to. I know this was a final game, wasn't it? I'd have liked him to maybe have tinkered with his actual starting lineup, unless that's it. But I can't see that being it. And then we'd have more clue. But I've watched a bit of pre-season. I watched the highlights for this. I didn't see the game. Obviously, there were the Leeds United highlights, so they're a bit more biased. But there's some nice football being played. Some good performances, some exciting things. I'm still hoping that we add a lot more and keep a couple. But I went to watch the Monaco game. It was a bit flat, to be honest. Archie Gray was probably the most exciting thing out of that. But I don't take a lot from pre-season other than like individual form and things like that. So the results matter nothing. I think a lot of Leeds fans got a bit too excited when we beat Forest. For me, they've just started their pre-season and it's pre-season. So we'll know a bit more next week. But I do think we're going to get stronger through the season. So
I don't think this is going to be the lineup.
No, that won't be the
lineup.
lineup.
September 1st, the lineup's going to look drastically different. It's not going to look drastically different next week, but I think I personally, I think we're going to have a don't go to bed yet deadline day, where we actually buy players instead of be waiting till midnight to sell them.
Yeah. Do you think we're going to have a lot of exits come deadline day? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do as well.
Very sure. I think
I
teams
heard a rumor. Did you?
No, go on.
Sorry, no, carry on, because I was going to move on from this.
No. I was just going to talk bollocks, please. What
Yeah,
rumor
well,
did you
going
hear?
on the game, I heard a rumor Rutter and Bamford may have been injured today. So
That
I don't
is
know
the
to
case.
confirm that. Yes. So obviously we don't know to what extent, but it makes you think that you'd have a contingency plan for it happening in the season. So let's just let's hope there's a striker on that list.
What I will say, and what I will say from what I have seen over the course of pre-season, so we'll take the 4 games. I can see what Mr. Farker is trying to get them to do. I don't want to go and far as to say Bielsa-ish, because it's obviously very much like his Norwich team, which, to be fair, was 50% successful, but 100% successful at the level we need him to be successful at right now. So it's Paveda looked really good. Problem is, I don't want to see him play well against the Nottingham Forest team that even the most terrible defensive Leeds team we've seen in a long time managed to beat twice.
Yeah. Well,
so Forest are
I was going to touch a bit later on Ian Paveda, but might as well cover him now. Thanks for that, Mark. Hamstring injuries. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
He seems to. Well, we don't know what we're going to get out of him over a full season, because I think he's got attitude problems. I couldn't confirm it personally, but it's what you read. But he seems to be a favourite of Farker and seems to be looking quite tasty when he's coming on, playing. So maybe he's a little gem, the forgotten player.
What I want to be careful to avoid, and you see this a lot on Leeds Twitter, when someone has a good game, there's a clamour. This was Nonto all last year, right? And I know he's of a higher calibre of player, but it's a lot of like, oh, you got to play him. You got to play him. You've got to play this guy, and it's like, but then why? Why have you got to play him? Because he played well against Hearts.
Play him if you only got to play him if he's obviously just at the start of the season, if he's doing it in training, putting the work in, but then ultimately performing on the pitch. I don't care how good you in the middle of the season, how good you are in training. If you're not performing on the pitch week in, week out, and it's dross, I don't want to be watching you. And a lot of managers, and I'm not just talking Leeds managers, you get it in a lot of teams, continue to play these players that, they put a shift in. No, but this shit, excuse my French, but they're not very good. So, but yeah, going on Bob saying that we have looked organised. So, and you can sort of see patterns of play coming from Farker's football.
I'm going to say something quite controversial. I don't think Somerville's that good.
I was going to ask you, out of the gems that we hold, if you can keep 2, who are you 2?
I would keep. Let's preface this. Similar to what Liam Cooper said, if you even 2% do not want to be here, fuck off. All right, let's make that clear. All right, but if we can hold a player hostage to his contract, because that's what it'll be, Tyler Adams, because Tyler Adams comes across to me as the sort of footballer that even if he doesn't want to, even if he'd rather be in the Premier League, he's still going to give you. He's still going to give you.
Yeah, you're still going to get a shift. Yes.
He's not going to spit his dummy out in the same way that I get the feeling Somerville does when maybe he ain't getting the ball enough,
or Cody Drama when he's not being picked, sort of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. So I would of the 2, I would say Sinisterra and Tyler Adams. But obviously, Sinistera, the only reason, in my opinion, the only reason he's still at our club is because of his injury record. And teams are like, because had he not been injured, that whatever his release clause is would have been triggered.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that's the case, the same two. I'd like to keep the same two. But let's say Adams wants away and he goes. I'd be Nonto out of the rest of them that I want to keep. Look, I like Harrison. I think he can be good in this league. He does fit in. But like a lot of other Leeds fans agree, even in the Championship, you get it in blocks, you get 6 or 7 games, and then he goes missing. And you don't need that in a season this big and this long. So I'm not bothered if we can get as much money for Harrison. Obviously, the same for Somerville. Look, the kid's got talent, but I think we've got better wingers. So, yeah, I'd keep the same two. But if Adams doesn't want to be here, then it'd be Nonto.
I'm going to show my petty side here, right? And I do have a petty side. If we were to sell Nonto, I would rather sell him for slightly less money than sell him to Everton.
Yeah, I've got a bit
that team
to
wind me up. That team.
Yeah, well, that's a team that cheats and then wants your players.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't get to survive at our expense and then nick our top prospects. No.
Yeah, I don't think. To be honest with you,
I think
I personally think that when the market heats up a bit, I think there'll be a few clubs looking at Nonto, and I think Everton will probably get priced out. To be honest, because they don't seem to have upfront money. I mean, Ashley Young, come on, sadly, but we're gonna look to move on this season, is it?
I don't. I'll put it another way. I don't want to see him go there because I don't think they should be rewarded for just skimming past us by a nose hair.
Yeah, I'm the same.
And people are going to say, "Oh, he's being petty if they're offering good money." It's like I fail to believe they'll be the only team offering that sort of money for him. Like you said, the team will probably offer more. I personally thought I think he went missing too much for a player that everyone was like, "Why aren't you playing him?" Like, I can understand why he weren't being played because he weren't the answer. He clearly weren't the answer because then when we did throw him in, it got worse.
Yeah, and he's not getting the ball in the right places, and then they're just passing the ball and then take everybody on. What, 1 in 10 that's going to work?
He's what, 18, 19?
Yeah, look, the kid's obviously a talent, a real talent, but to be a talent, you need talented players around you.
Mm-hmm. I personally thought it was
at least players that can pass a ball. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was a real problem, the level to which and how quickly we came to rely on an 18-year-old in a relegation battle. I think that just as a sentence is a problem.
Season.
Yeah.
Yeah. It showed the desperation last season, but
yeah, I want to try best as I can to sort of get that stink out, and the best way to get that out is beating Cardiff next week.
Well, it is, but transfers or lack of.
Yeah, what do you make of the? Sorry, this will fit into this transfer thing, but what do you make of the new ownership in general?
Look, I think they've got a plan. I think they're organised. Obviously, there's restrictions, but I think they know how they can work around them. They're obviously expecting money from some players, and maybe they're restricted until them bids come in. I don't know, but I'd like to think that they had players ready to speak to, or have spoken to players, in the wings. But we definitely need, in my opinion, 5 players minimum. So I think we've got funds. I think we have got funds, to be honest. I don't know how much funds, but I'm happy so far with what we've brought in. I'm happy with what we've brought in. I like Caldalo as a goalkeeper. I do. I thought I was a bit gutted when we was last in for him and we didn't get him, to be honest. Ampadu, I watched his first game against Monaco. I thought he had a great game, got them wrong, but his passing was a little bit off. But he seems to be growing and looks to be a steal at was it 7 million?
Yeah,
so
roughly
I'm happy with
yeah.
that. And
Chelsea
as far as
initially
I'm
wanted
concerned,
12.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I read. But
yeah,
I mean,
allegedly wanted 12. I weren't in the room.
We seem to be quite shrewd thus far with what we pay out. We've got a couple of good deals there for me, so that's good to know. You know that they won't be messed about. And if we ever bought someone from Man United, I don't think we'll be paying 30 million for them if they're only worth 10.
Oh, Daniel James. Oh, don't. Let me talk to you about that negotiation, right? Right. Oh, I've wanted to talk about this for years. Oh my God, I can't believe I finally got the platform to do it. That negotiation was the equivalent of being the only bidder, but then walking in and slapping down money on the table as if you were in a race with 18 other teams. It was like they'd literally just bought in Ronaldo. This is how long ago it was. They bought in Ronaldo, and he became, at best, he was their fourth choice striker. He was probably fifth. And we went in with, now, I know you might, again, I weren't in the room, but it's the feeling I get. It was very much, we're going to give you 28, and that's a hard bargain. And Man United have sat there like we'd have probably took 15 that we paid for him, but all right, if you want to offer nearly 30, fine, amazing. And Victor Orta and Bielsa are like jumping up around the table like, oh, we finally got our man.
We pay Man United tax, don't we? It's as simple as that. But I don't think this regime would pay that Man United tax. I think they seem to be quite shrewd. But on the outgoings,
care about Man United tax.
On the outgoings, other than Robles, which I didn't think he did all that bad in his 4 games, and seems to be a character, and he seemed to. He's the only one on that list that's had a reasonable exit that I feel. The rest of them, I'm not bothered. Rodrigo would have been nice in this league, but let's face it, he wants some money at the end of his career. So, but Robin Koch,
exactly. I don't blame him. No, you got Rodrigo's perfectly entitled to get that final payday. You're right. Let's make that clear. That's perfectly fine, right? Also, one of our best players last season, effort outstanding. Would have been nice if he'd have made the effort. Would have been nice if he had made more of an effort to take the ball out of Patrick Bamford's hands against Newcastle. But that's another thing. Exactly. But over the course of his 3 years, do you feel we got 30 million's worth? Yes or no? I know football's not like that, but if I have to ask you,
not at the beginning, no. At the beginning, I'm not going to lie to you. When you put him in Bielsa's system, he did not fit, and it made me wonder why Victor Orta, which happened a lot of times while he was there.
So why I think that happened, Ben? I'll tell you why we bought him. He was plan B in case Bamford didn't score for 5 games when we got promoted. Problem was, plan B didn't work because Bamford scored in each of the first 3 games. And then you got a £30 million player there. It's like, you can't drop Patrick Bamford, but you got your £30 million player. Marcelo, you got to make this work, mate. And he did his best with it and all that. But I think they thought in case Bamford wasn't up to the task immediately, he then slotted in.
Yeah.
But
to answer your question, I'd say we got maybe 20 mil worth. Because we'd inevitably, look, he gave his best last season, and he was probably my favourite performer last season, I'm not going to lie to you.
I can't fault his effort.
Inevitably, it didn't keep us up, so it wasn't full value for money. So I think, we're maybe 7 million down on him, for me.
But you realise that list is at roughly 120 million worth of talent, right? That we sold for 3 million. This genuine thing. In this summer, I learned a new rule in football. Because I always thought when you got relegated, you got raided based on relegation release clauses, but you got money. But you act like Burnley, for example, got raided for all their best talent, but they got 20 million a pop. Goalkeeper, 20 million, for example. Chris
and
Wood, whatever.
We're relying on third-party 50% sell-on clauses at the minute. But inevitably,
I didn't know.
none of this is the 49ers Enterprise's fault. None of this. So
they were in the room,
frustrated though. I get that, but they were in control, and how much control they had or how much say they had, we'll never know, because they're never going to admit it. And
but they were a bit like, we had nothing to do with that. It's like, no, but you could have nudged him and gone, this sounds like it could go a bit dodgy.
Well, at this point, if I was in the room on one of these deals, taking notes on what not to do, I'd have gone, sell up and get the fuck out of here. But I can't. I'm frustrated by some of these release clauses, some of these loans, but I can't be too frustrated because there's no one to vent it at anymore. Angus Kinnear, you can't really vent it at him because
he's done really well out of the situation.
Well, he has,
Angus
hasn't he?
Kinnear, incredible.
I just feel the two clowns, just whatever ideas came into their head, they did. I'm not going to take away what Radrizzani did do for us that was good, but he finished like a buffoon, so goodbye.
We're in a genuinely better position than when he joined. Like, let me make that clear. Like, despite all the moaning and the stuff, before he come through the door, we were a literal clown show. Ellen Road was like the circus. I don't think that's unfair to say.
So
my overarching point, Ben, was that before this summer, I didn't even know you could do a loan release clause if you got relegated.
No, I didn't. I'd never heard of it. It's always a first with our club, isn't it? It's like Leeds will do that. Yeah, we'll go for it. So where does this leave our squad?
It leaves us.
Squad slide? I've got a squad slide there. Yeah. Minus number 39 at the bottom there. It's thin, isn't it? It's very thin.
He's going to make his way onto the bottom end of that previous slide eventually.
And excuse the shirt that Ethan's wearing.
Oh, he's got that toilet paper on, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has.
If you want to fire 2 questions at Sam Greenwood, please feel free, especially if they're genuine questions, but kind of if they're not.
Are you giving me crap about the players I'm putting up there?
No. Listen, would I ever do that? You do better.
Yeah, of course you would. But I don't take it personally.
But, obviously that's going to, like you said, that's going to look very different come September 1st. So, but on that list, number 63 excites me very much.
Archie Gray. Can you explain to some people who Archie Gray is?
Well, if you're not a Leeds fan, Sam Greenwood, Gary, Archie Gray is he the nephew, I think, of legendary Leeds United winger Eddie Gray. A long line of history from the Gray family in the Leeds United archives, and he's the latest addition. England under 17 just won did they win it? They won it, didn't they? Just won was it the World Cup? Oh, I can't remember. They just won a trophy, England under 17s, and he was a big part of that. But I've watched him pre-season, and especially the Monaco game, he's got lovely, silky footwork. And I don't want to put too much, well, it's obviously not pressure from me, but don't want to big him up too soon. But all going well, we've got a baller there, real baller.
He's going to have the weight of expectation on him, though, isn't he? Because it's like
depending how much he's used. Yeah, I think Farker needs to be clever with him, and I do feel that Farker. Look, I'm happy with Farker, to be honest. I am. I think he's a good appointment. He's championship records, won 71, drawn 21, lost 29.
He was the best that was available.
Well, of course he was, yeah.
Like,
obviously, I expected miracles straight away, and it might take 2 seasons, which I'll be patient with. But
let's take everyone into a wild alternative future where Leeds are being managed by a man with a cardigan in the dugout. Nothing wrong with cardigans, but we could have had Scott Parker in our future. The man that
did I ask you? I actually asked you that question in one of our groups, didn't I? Why is Scott Parker even on that list?
I can tell you why. I can tell you why he's on that list. I can tell you why he gets jobs, because there's owners' wives that like how he looks in a cardigan, and they're like, "Oh, he's got something to him." Allegedly. I'm not just just suspecting, because it ain't fucking football, is it? Pardon my language. Sorry.
Even his interviews, does he not just speak dross? Even his interviews, it's just like, how does anyone even listen to you when you're dishing out instructions?
It's either how he looks in a suit and cardigan, or someone in football's really enamoured with that McDonald's advert he did when he was 10.
He looks and sounds like he's at a book club meeting. Literally, honestly, the guys.
Yeah.
Right, we've got these questions here anyway. Do you feel you are a contender to win the championship, or do you think you will struggle for direct promotion? I'll let you answer that one, mate.
I think, and I know a lot of people are going to say this, it's genuinely hard to know that right now, because, like we say, the complexion of the squad is going to change between now and September. We can have an answer this time next Sunday after the Cardiff game, where we see where we're at with what we've got, with what we have. And in September, when we see where we're at with what we're going with. It's also important to know that our stock is the highest it will ever be. Like, if we don't come out the trap like lightning quick, it becomes harder to sign players in January, and the players we have retained in January might want to go if it don't look like we're getting back.
Yes, there is pressure on that.
You've got to strike while your iron's hot, as such.
What I will say there is, if we don't go up, it will. Well, if we do go up, it will be direct promotion. We don't do playoffs, so if we're not in the top 2, then we're not going up.
Never won one.
That's just the way I feel, and I think a lot of Leeds fans, whether you're superstitious or not, will probably agree with me. But did Ian have a question there? I think it's in a question mark. Too early to tell. Oh, he's answered it to it. Yeah, agreed with Ian. So, which players, like, out of that young crop, are you most excited to see play this season?
The player I want to see something out of, the one that stuck out to me would have been Sonny Perkins, because although we've gone like Giabi and all that, I think that's how you pronounce it, like we got him from Man City as part of the Calvin Phillips deal and that, but Sonny Perkins is the one we actually stole from West Ham. Like, we actually made a concerted effort to convince him to play for us.
He could have gone anywhere, couldn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah. Like, join us instead of playing Europa League first round matches with West Ham, because that's all he would have got. So I want to see why we took him, basically.
I'd like to see. There's a few players missing in it. The Leeds website is absolutely dross, but I want to see Joffrey. Like, now he's got a proper run at it, a good block of games at a time. And also, I'd like to see a bit of Rutter.
Who is, for the benefit of non-Leeds fans, who is Joffrey?
Joe Gelhardt. Yeah.
Thank you.
And also, I'd like to see how much of the 35 million Rutter is worth. Because let's face it, the poor lad didn't get any chance, did he? But I did see I know it's easy to put a YouTube compilation together of all your best bits, like they do, and everyone thinks the players mint, but everyone thinks the players great. But he's actually got quite a long Leeds United compilation of skills and for the few minutes that he actually played. So there's talent there. So I think Sam Greenwood's looking forward to seeing Sam Greenwood develop.
My thing with Rutter is like it's similar to what you're saying. There's clearly a player there who he has something to him. I don't know if he adds enough to him to have spent 35 million on him when you're in a relegation battle. Why are you buying a player that you don't play when you need someone to score goals? Like, because he wasn't injured. It's ridiculous. That's obviously one of like the 35 things that went wrong last season. Because we fixed bad decisions with more bad decisions ultimately, and that led us to sitting here now in the what league is it? The Sky. Who sponsors it now?
Sky Bet still is it? Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that on my shirt.
I love that. I'm looking forward to Flamingo Land.
Oh, good old Flamingo Land. Good old Flamingo Land.
So
have
shall
you
we?
been to
Shall we
Flamingo
move?
Land, John? Man in the
I've been
shadows.
many a time. Many a time. He's gone to sleep.
What'd you say? I wasn't paying attention.
Have you been to Flamingo Land, John?
Where's that? Vegas?
It's near where I live, near York, just north of York, Malton, Pickering.
Where?
It's like it's an amusement park with roller coasters and teacups and arcades and yeah.
Where is it?
North Yorkshire.
Oh no.
You'll have to come over while you're so
Okay.
close in Romania.
Okay, I'll
Goes to Romania, but then won't go to Flamingo Land. Shocking.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Discrimination against flamingos.
Yes.
Yeah, what is flamingos, man?
They stink.
Ian,
I've
you don't
never
know what you're
smelled
missing out on.
I've never gone around sniffing flamingos to know whether that's true or not.
You don't have to
So
sniff them. They just stink from a mile
Ian
away.
lives in West Yorkshire, right? And he's never been. That's terrible.
All right.
Terrible. We
You've
should
never
get
been to
discounts to
Flamingo
buy
Land,
the
Ian?
club.
Nah. You're not giving money to our sponsors to give us money. Criminal.
Shall we move on then to preview the up and coming next fixture?
Why not?
Cardiff. So obviously we're not going to have any clue of the starting lineup. So what do we know about the opposition?
Let's have a quick look at the opposition. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, my God. Aaron Ramsey's still alive.
So Romain Sawyers has been pretty decent in certain... When it was at West Brom, he was at. He wasn't a bad player.
I
there.
loved his own
Alan
goal
Robinson's
against
not
Leeds
a
for
bad
West
player.
Brom. Sawyer's got own goal where he just passed it into the net for us.
Look, Karlan Grant's shite, isn't he?
Karlan Grant is the equivalent of who's the lad that Newcastle that got loaned to Newcastle and basically like would score loads of goals in the Championship, then get promoted. Or
Dwight Gale.
Dwight Gale. Karlan Grant is a Poundland version of Dwight Gale.
Oh, so he's good in League One,
Karlan,
but not in this league.
I'm sure you're a lovely lad.
I don't really care for Cardiff anyway, but look, this is a fixture, and it's not been stooped in glory for us, whether it be at home or away.
I hate them. I want to beat them.
Yeah, I hate them and all. Nothing to do with the 2001 or 2 cup game.
Cardiff,
nothing to do with that.
Go fuck yourself. Sorry.
A personal opinion on Cardiff is they should be playing in the League of Wales. So yeah, I think
they caused our decline. They didn't really,
I'm going to go that we beat them just on, and this is a pathetic reason to say we're going to beat them, but just on the few bits of nice football that I've seen in pre-season, and the fact that it's opening day at Ellen Road, and let's start with a win.
If
what do you think, Andy?
if we can't beat them with what we currently have, when are we going to beat them?
Exactly. That's the last 5 meetings.
Yeah, it's quite grim, really.
But you're only as good as your last result, so.
That's true. That was a wild night when we beat them 5-2.
I will say one thing, they are quite tasty games usually, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'll never forget when we threw the 3-0 lead away, but yeah, some good games.
I was at work when that happened. Was not fun.
I actually heard that one on the radio, and it was it wasn't. I had a dodgy stream, I think, that I shouldn't have had, and I've learnt my lesson from. And it was the Cardiff commentator, and we were 3-0 up, and then they scored, and I remember saying he said something about maybe they weren't in the game at all, and
didn't they get a player sent off as well?
Yeah, I think so. And he said something stupid like, if we get another one, we're in this. And I remember saying something like, you stupid dastard. But anyway, and lo and behold, there you go. He was right. I was wrong.
I remember it going 3-0.
Yes, Lolo.
And I remember turning to one of my colleagues at work and basically going like, turn out the lights, the party's over kind of shit. Which is obviously in hindsight a massive mistake. One that I'm making now, clearly. But if you can't sit there in football and be like, I think my team's going to win, why are you in the game?
Exactly.
I say that. 20 minutes before the game, I'll be like, let's calm it down, lads, let's calm it down. And then 1 minute after kick-off, it'd be, get into them! Because that's football.
Well, that's Leeds, isn't it? Get into them.
Yeah.
So have you any optimism for this season? What do you think? What?
I have, Ben. I can tell you why. Because my contention with previous seasons and why it's been miserable is because at best we were winning 1 game a month, not even that. Whereas at least now, even if we don't get promoted, I still hope there'll be more Saturday nights that we win than we don't.
Well, yeah, even if you're mid-table, you're winning 15, 20 games, aren't you? You know,
exactly.
And drawing 10. Yeah, it's still a better season. There's a lot more. There is a lot more Saturday afternoons, Sundays that you can relax and you think, yeah. And you don't have that niggling frustration that you've just watched your team collapse.
How many points do you think we're getting out of that?
It's very hard to say, but I'm going to go.
Keeping in mind, obviously, at least 4 of them comes before the deadline. Maybe.
Do you know what I think?
Actually, maybe all 5. Maybe all 5.
Do you know what I think the hard fixture there is? Ipswich away. It's a long, long way to travel, isn't it? You know, and Leeds don't travel far well, do they? Let's be honest. But I think Ipswich away is going to be the one that will surprise you maybe in there. But look, they're all winnable, aren't they? Let's be honest. So in an ideal world, we'd be looking at 15 points. But
I think you've got to keep
in mind. I'd be happy with 12. I'd be happy with 12 there.
Every single one of them will play against us harder than they play against anyone else.
Yeah, of course. The cup final, innit? I understand that. But we've been here before and we've come through it. So
I think we'll get 10.
10.
I'll be happy with 12. I think we'll get 10. I'll be happy with 12.
Yeah.
Maybe. Again, though, re-ask me this time next Sunday after we're taking in the ambience of the Cardiff game.
Which game are you looking forward to most out of there?
Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, me too.
Because
Yorkshire Derby.
Yeah. Because it feels like we ain't played them for a while because we haven't. But
I've got a mate who's a big Wednesday fan from when I used to be in army. I've had his seat at Hillsborough a few times.
Sorry to interrupt you. That was rude of me. Sorry.
You're right.
Sorry, Ben.
No. I've finished. You could.
Oh, fair enough. The thing that a lot of non-Leeds fans are going to think notice is when these lists come up and we're going, I'll be sitting there going, I hate them, I don't like them, fuck them, and then maybe they're all right. Like probably Plymouth for be the only one where I'm like, they're not a threat to us or whatever.
They'll
mean
be the one. Yeah.
I just mean
but that'll be the one we slip up in.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, Plymouth will fucking beat us because Plymouth will play it like they're at the FA Cup semi-final at Wembley, like, and we'll play it like it's an away day at Plymouth.
Yeah.
Because that's Leeds, isn't it? We lost to a postman once. Histon, just point out. Postman scored against us and beat us. Lost to a postman.
Remember. God.
He was giving me my letters the next day. He weren't. He's probably in Histon. But
I'll ask you that next week. I'll give you a week to think about it. Is your most memorable defeat at Ellen Road or away, depending? I'll give you a week to think about that one. I do believe you have a question, Mr. Tom.
Actually, I can answer that right now. I can answer that now. When we lost, I believe it's 4-1 at home to Blackpool with Paul Rashubka in goal. And I believe he conceded 4 goals in the first half. And he made an error which led to Tom Lees being sent off for handball. And it was so bad that they took the goalkeeper off at half time and brought on a 16. He weren't 16. Alex Cairns, I think it was. But there's argument's sake, he was equivalent. They brought a child on in goal because the goalkeeper had played. He played like it was an abortion. It was disgusting. And I just that match.
Paul Rashubka.
No.
We moan about Melier. God, look where we were.
He makes Melier look like fucking name a Ballon d'Or goalkeeper. I went in there out too quick.
Ollie Khan.
Well, it's all right what you say because I was about to say he makes Melier look like Dida, but we all know what Dida did at Ellen Road.
Yeah, we do.
Bless him. Bless him. Yeah. But
I do believe you have a question for our audience.
You know what, everyone? I've got a question. All right. It's Mr. Tom's question of the week. Ta-da!
I don't know
Who's that young man in a dancer's hat?
I have no idea.
That would be Ben.
Oh, interesting. Man in the shadows. Coming up trumps with the images. So, in 1973-74, Leeds United started the season with a then record unbeaten run. How many games was it?
I'll give you a minute.
If it weren't copyrighted, I'd have the countdown theme down right now. Do.
Surprised John hasn't got his clock out. There it is. All right, on cue. Gotta love him.
I rarely pull my clock out.
That's not PG.
Wrong show.
I'd have had my arse.
So I'm genuinely excited. No, we're not that crap, Sam. Come on. Serious answers only, right? You're banned, Gary.
The absolute lack of respect from Gary is something that I should be surprised at, but I'm not.
I'm not surprised. I'm not
not surprised.
He's just sabotaging the show I'm on because what I've done to him. Yeah, shall we reveal?
Yeah. The answer is
no one was right.
29. Do you know who beat us?
No, I don't actually.
On a cold February, it's literally a cold night in Stoke. We lost 3-2 at Stoke.
Ah. Well, there you go. A bit more knowledge. Well, that should be a wrap.
And do you know who broke that record?
Nottingham Forest.
The Invincibles.
I thought somebody else got 31 or something before the Invincibles.
Yeah, probably.
I'll have to have a look. But I'll take your word for it, but I'll have to have a look.
No, I think you are right. Nottingham Forest did surpass it, but it is currently with the Invincibles.
Yeah, it is, yeah. I always have to give so much to them, don't
genuinely
you?
is
Well,
Stoke.
why have they appeared on our show again?
I'll say this though.
Always ends up with them, doesn't it?
Lionel Messi.
Lolo's not even here.
At least Ronaldo had the balls to play against Stoke. Okay, whereas Lionel Messi ducked them for his entire career. Lionel Messi went to Miami to avoid playing Stoke. I didn't see you there. Very good show you on why this co-host.
I love that guy. He's great.
Yeah, I said it there. I said it, Lolo. I say he's a coward. He ducked Stoke.
You can answer his question too now, he says.
Oh, would you rate O'Leary as a better Leeds manager than Wilkinson due to the Champions League effort as well as overall in the Premier League? No.
No, nowhere near.
No.
Nowhere near. I'll put Wilkinson up there with Bielsa, personally. He did a great job. I know it's soured, and he did a stupid thing like sell all our youth crop that was better than that dross in '92. But look,
I think there's a clear hierarchy amongst the Leeds fans. Forgive me for speaking for you all, but I think it is Reeve, Wilkinson, Bielsa.
Yeah, that's
it
how
is
I
a distinct three.
But as far as watching football, I didn't get to see a lot of Reeve, so it would go Bielsa, as in excitement of football, but as in what they've done for the club and the titles and whatnot, it goes Reeve, Wilkinson. And O'Leary slipping there fourth for me. And I'd put Eddie Gray in there as well, because I didn't think he got a fair deal. He was paying some good players like Sheridan Batty, some Dennis Irwin. He had some good players, but didn't give a shot at it. I'd love Nketiah. I love him.
Eddie Gray always ends up in these situations of basically he only ever gets the baton when things are going wrong. Eddie Gray's never going to be handed a good Leeds squad and then be told you're now the manager of it. He always gets handed the stick when it's basically, Eddie, we need someone to steady this ship. That's basically he gets put on the controls of the Titanic, and obviously does the best he can, and we know that, and that's why he's still at he never gets fired. He just gets moved out of the manager position and then goes back to essentially whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
It'd be like Arsene Wenger. If he still wanted a position at Arsenal, he'd be in your boardroom, or he'd be standing there on match day, like greeting fans, or whatever he wants to do. You'd let him do it, wouldn't you? Well, that's what we do for Eddie Gray. So, anything else you would like to share with the loyal? I say loyal. It's episode 1, but next week.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us. We'll be back same time next week. Obviously, we'll have a little bit more to talk about. We'll have a match to talk about. Obviously, reviewing the Cardiff game. Slight preview of the. I've forgotten who's next.
Don't we have Shrewsbury in the middle?
Yeah, I think we do. I don't think we're covering the early rounds, are we, of the Mickey Mouse Cup, unless we get a big team.
If it's a Tuesday night, maybe. I don't know.
Well, we may throw a bonus show in for you there. But yeah, and obviously chat on if we bought any more players and if we progressed anywhere. So, but thanks for joining us, everyone. I've had fun, Tom.
One second. Does Bandy have anything he wants to say to the audience? I mean, if he's more than welcome to, he might as well. If he's there.
Aye, boys. Well, it's been a good start, a good opening to the We All Love Leeds podcast. Very good.
Thank you.
And I hope you all grow.
And thank you, Don. Thank you very much for your help with the video. Much appreciated, mate.
You boys were always welcome.
I know we might have been a bit of an headache at times.
You bleed me. Nah, it's a pleasure, boys. Pleasure.
No, appreciated, mate. Appreciated.
I can't believe we got praise from Caesar himself down there.
Thanks again, Sam.
So we'll be back this time next week. Well, actually, this time next week we'll probably be leaving, but this time plus and minus an hour. So, Man in the Shadows, would you like to play us out, please?